The Bengals defeated the Bills 24-18. Sunday Night Football just got done before we started recording. Early, it looked like it was going to be a fireworks show. Then it looked like it was going to be a repeat of the playoff game. And somehow the Bills were able to kind of keep it close, claw back in it at the end, maybe. But ultimately, for me, they just couldn't get stops defensively. The Bills could not get the Bengals off the field. And I hate to say it, and I'm not making excuses. It's not an excuse because everyone deals with injuries, but it really does feel like rinse and repeat from last year with the Bills. It's like you had a great team, and then the injury bug comes and wipes out the defense, and now we're in no man's land. So what do they do going forward?
Yeah, and it's all on McDermott's shoulders this year, right? Because there's nobody to blame it on anymore.
But I thought
out.
he was calling a great game. Like, I feel like McDermott has done a great job.
So the problem was, okay, let me start with Eagle Eye View. It was just a knockdown, drag-out football game. The Bengals straight up outplayed us, period. They rushed on us early in the second half. We stopped them after the second half. But what did they do in the second half? They passed on us everywhere. Our coverage, our zone coverage was awful. When we manned up, we got beat. Straight up outmatched offensively for the Bengals and defensively for the Bills. We just couldn't handle them. I know we had some injuries that have plagued us all year. We had a couple of guys back. I know we're still dealing with some injuries, but that's no excuse for how wide open these guys were. Not only were they wide open, there was no pressure on Burrow most of the night. I think he had 1 or 2 sacks maybe, or the Bills had 1 or 2 sacks. It was just an utter beatdown offense. Like, anytime, I told you this at the end of the game because we watched it together, anytime the Bengals got the ball, there wasn't a question of if we're going to stop them. It was how many points are we going to limit them to?
Exactly.
Is it going to be 3 or is it going to be 7 this time? And I think you saw McDermott realize that when he went for 2 at the end, and then also when he called the penalty or called the challenge for that drop pass. Hit the ground, hit the glove, whatever you want to say. I think at that point he knew that no matter what, if they got 1 first down when they got the ball back, it was over. And that's what happened.
Sure. It's interesting, too, because we talk about this a lot on Sports Bluff, is if you look at the box score of this game, you're like, damn even game. That's why
it didn't look like it.
It didn't look like it. I mean, the Bills were outclassed all game long. And then kind of do what the Bills do where they claw back in the fourth quarter. I actually do give the Bills a lot of credit for being resilient and hanging back in there and fighting and getting back in the game at the end, like having a chance to win it. I really do. The killer for me, just kind of looking at the stat sheet and from watching it, is like yards and this and that, yards per play, everything's even except possession. Possession time, the Bills offense had the ball 23 minutes. The Bengals had it 36. That was the difference in the game. The Bills couldn't maintain any kind of rhythm offensively, whereas on the opposite side, they couldn't limit the Bengals offensive. The Bengals offense did whatever they want. They took long drives, 8-9 minutes. They took their time, run, pass, whatever. The Bills didn't even try to run the football tonight. They just said, we're not going to do that. Okay, again, we've talked about that a million times. They just couldn't get Joe Burrow off the field. And it was the typical Joe Burrow performance. It was when he is on, it doesn't matter what you call. And I know from being a Chiefs fan, we've had so many big games against them. He, was our kryptonite for a long time. It doesn't matter what you call, Ryan. He's going to pick it apart.
Yeah, and what hurt us too, we had 2 turnovers. I think that is really more the storyline of the game, more so than anything. I think that's
probably the swing.
Because it was the gut punches, right? It was like what hope we did have was taken away.
The Kincaid fumble was really the dagger.
That was the game. That was the game. And I told you when it happened, I was like, well, that's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
I didn't see the first interception that happened. I told you that already. I stepped away to help the wife out, but I don't feel like that was as big of a mistake.
Well, the Bengals didn't get points off the interception.
Exactly. So right. That's why I feel like that's when we could have brushed under the rug and called it good. But it was that Kincaid fumble when he got flipped upside down and the defender just knocked the ball, not purposefully, but just brushed the ball. When you're flipping upside down, seems like you can't hold on to the ball that well. I don't know what that's about.
Rookie tight end, so give him a pass,
but that's hard for anybody, I think, when you're flipping in midair to, I think your muscles tense up and maybe that ball is just not as tight as it should be. But nonetheless, the Bills lost. The Bengals won. We're still not topping the Dolphins tonight. And we sit here and look at the season as a whole, and we think to ourselves, man, it's the same as last year. It really feels that way, dude. I mean, it feels like we're just going to tiptoe around the playoffs, maybe get into a wild card. I hope we still can.
Probably will.
But I just don't think we're going to go far in it, man. I'm wearing a Bills hoodie tonight, and I still am honest enough to say something's weird about this team, and I don't know if it's the coaching or what, but I'm starting to believe more and more of what you say, that McDermott just doesn't have what it takes to lead this Bills team in the direction they need to go.
Agreed, and I'll be quick, but just want to play off that point. I thought last year it was way more egregious and obvious that, hey, McDermott might be an issue. Not that he's not good. It's just like, when you're wanting Super Bowl, the Bills are one of the teams, in my opinion, that are Super Bowl or bust. Anything less than a Super Bowl appearance is a failed season. Okay, that's the situation when you've got a franchise quarterback. And I don't think McDermott was living up to that. This season, I don't really want to put a lot of blame on McDermott. Like, I feel like he's done a good job, especially calling the defense. I feel like they've had some bad luck. However, the point still remains that when you don't have the offensive head coach for your quarterback, it feels like there's not that guy. It just feels like Allen is not really hitting his, in Madden terms, it feels like he's never getting in the zone. He's having good games. He's playing very good, still one of the best in the league, but he's never getting in the zone. He's never lighting on fire, turning on the X factor. So maybe a change does have to happen, because Ryan, the fact that they had 10 points until with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, that's just kind of a problem in the AFC. When you've got Josh Allen, you got to be able to score more than 10 points in 3.5 quarters. So that has to fall on somebody, right? And I don't know who, but.
Well, like I said, I've developed a new fear of Joe Burrow tonight, and it's not going away anytime soon.